Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to Face the Nation. That's what I
There we
feel
go.
like. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities. At the desk, as always, Mr. Luther Dupree Jr. My name is Claudio Relsano, and unfortunately, Smoking Jim is a little under the weather. That's why we got this set up. So he'll be back with us very shortly. Jim, definitely not to say without you. We love you, brother.
Get well,
And,
Jim.
get well soon, and we'll be in touch, and we'll send you a video of this show. Now, if we don't pull it off, man, he's going to want more money.
Right.
All right, more than he's getting now. All right. Luther, I thought about you Saturday. Brandon Figueroa, unanimous decision over Mark Magsayo. Obviously, you got the pick right. I did not. I've been high on Magsayo
Why?
since he started to make a name for himself. I like him physically, but I'm starting to wonder, he kept falling down, not knocked down. Well, that was a couple times.
I think the refereeing in this fight was kind of questionable. I
And
think
they
he
were-
did get knocked out, and then he took a couple points off of Magsayo.
Right. But your thoughts on the fight, and we'll go from there.
Well, I thought Brandon Figueroa would win. I thought he'd be more active. And I'm really not impressed with Mark Magsayo. I know he follows Pacquiao, but he doesn't have the stamina. I don't think he has a chin. And I think he lost his last 3 matches. I'm talking, I think Gary Russell beat him with one arm, then Ray Vargas, and now Brandon Figueroa. You know, there's not a lot of bells and whistles that I'm excited about. I think he gets a lot of hype because he followed Manny Pacquiao, but he's not good. This is the one. I think that was a knockdown. He got hit with a body shot and dropped.
Right.
But
at the end of a punch, if you fall at the end of a punch, it can be considered a knockdown.
I was disappointed with the refereeing in this fight altogether. But I like Figueroa. He's very active. He fought a tough fight against his only loss was Stephen Coolboy Fulton
Everybody's
from
gonna have a tough
Philly.
time with him.
Yeah. So I think he has a chance to beat Ray Vargas. I mean, if you look at it, Ray Vargas doesn't have a lot of power. Ray Vargas lost his last fight to Oshaki Foster.
Right.
I called that
You
one
called
as
that
well.
one too. Yes, you did.
Listen, but I think I like Figueroa against Ray Vargas.
I do as well. Magsayo, again, I liked him physically, but now all of a sudden when he's dropping, and he is going to move up in weight, maybe that will help. But one thing, though, Luth, instead of complaining, they were complaining about the scorecard, but they were also complaining about the ref. And I'm with you. Hell, they could have had a few of those, more than one as a knockdown. It could have been a 10-7 round the one time because he took points off and got knocked down.
I think he took 2 points off.
Total.
Yeah,
Right.
Mark Magsayo. So
Right.
that was
So, but they did warn you. It isn't like he just took them off. He warned you. I still think. Do you think it'll be a benefit for him to move up?
No. I think he is what he is. He's a limited fighter, doesn't have much stamina, and his power as he faces better competition. I didn't see Figueroa hurt at all.
Right.
He landed some clean punches. Figueroa ate it. So you're going to move up and fight bigger guys?
Your power
I think
isn't gonna move up.
I don't think his power is going to transfer up.
And when you move up like that, if Figueroa, you and I agree that he got hit with some body shots, then what are the 140s going to do?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a journeyman. This is his second loss. I think he should have 3. I think it was a robbery that he got the belt from Gary Russell. Right. But when he couldn't beat a guy with one arm, he should have walked through him. Gary Russell was clearly hurt, was still with one arm, and he didn't take him down. I don't see it. I don't see the magic.
I think, I hate to say journeyman, but I think you're right in the sense that he could be a stepping stone for a young guy coming up because former champ Magsayo, he's a name. I beat him, which he's beatable. He's beatable.
He'll never get a belt again. That belt that they gave him from Gary Russell, he will never get a belt again. He's done. He's done.
You mentioned Pacquiao. I guess last week Chris Rock had his concert.
Oh, okay.
And he said, I took that shot like Pacquiao. Out of all the fighters he mentioned, he said, I took that shot like Pacquiao.
A legend, an
That was
8-time
funny.
champion. Come on, man.
You know what?
He was holding that in for a whole year.
Yeah.
And didn't let it out on a Netflix special. So
We're going to talk about Pacquiao in our Boxing Authorities news. But another fight, and you text me right away, and through the text, I sensed that you were a little bit saddened, disappointed in the Armando Resendiz fight against former champ, unified middle champ, Jarrett Hurd, who's now 24-3-16. Luther, before we talk about the fight itself, is Hurd done?
Hurd is definitely done. You spend 2 years off. Who was his trainer? You spend 2 years off and you still have no D, blocking with his face. Hurd, we knew he was a limited fighter. He tried to just use his size at 154, but he was taking clean punches. That low left and just leaving your face exposed. It's not going to get it. It's not going to get it done. They call him Swift Hurd. I don't know why. I don't see a lot of fast punches. I don't see a lot of movement.
Right.
They just give these names, for whatever.
It's like calling a fat guy tiny.
Yeah. I mean, he's not fast at all. But he busted his lip.
Yeah.
I mean,
Face swelled up.
Armando just destroyed Hurd. Look at that lip, man. He needs to call it. Chuck Noll used to say, you need to get on with your life's work. Right. I think he does. CTE is knocking on his door. He's taking too many clean punches, man. He has no head movement. His left is down. Look at this. I mean, he's just not there. And the guy he's fighting, Armando, he's okay. Yeah. But he's not. And this guy's talking about fighting Charlo. He fights Charlo. You better have your black suit ready, Claudio. Charlo destroys him. He has his hands down. Right. He doesn't have head movement. He keeps his head straight on the line.
What do you say? Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Don't get too crazy. During the fight, there was a game my cousin Perry had years ago. It was a boxing game when these video games first came out. And when you
Mike Tyson's
no,
punch
it was
out?
a little bit after that.
Oh, okay.
When you punch a guy and his face just kept getting swelled up and bigger, and that's what kind of reminded me with Hurd. Yeah. And it's a shame.
And
but
his lip, I think part of his lip came off in that fight or something.
God.
The referee had to stop it.
Yeah. We were talking before the show, and three guys that come to mind: Mickey Mantle, Johnny Bench, Mike Schmidt. Yeah. A lot of these guys, like during the season, I just don't have it anymore, and they would retire. In boxing, you don't have that luxury. You can actually get hurt. Okay. And Sugar Ray Leonard one time after the Hearns second fight, he said, I picked a bad night to have a bad night.
Right.
Hurd picked a bad night, but I don't think this was just a bad night.
No. I think he was done when he fought J-Rock, Julian Williams, in D.C. in his hometown and got dropped and lost. Yeah. I saw a lot of slippage, but all those tough fights, taking punishment, now he's starting to break down.
Yeah, I don't want to see him back in the ring again because if he fights somebody better than this kid,
he's getting hurt. He's going to get carried out in the stretcher.
Get hurt.
Move on, man. Hopefully he's made a decent amount of money.
That was my question. Do you think he's made enough to pack it in?
Do you ever? But the thing is, he had a chance to fight Charlo years ago. That would have been his biggest money fight. He should have taken it. And now that fight is off the table.
Maybe.
It's off the table.
You never know about fighters. I mean, they may, if there's still some money involved in it and not a lot of risk. I think Charlo will fight Resendez. I think he'll fight him.
Oh, yeah. But I'm saying Hurd has lost three out of his last 4 fights. He's on a bad losing
You said that
streak.
about some fighters. I forgot. Who was it? The heavyweight. The guy who's fighting AJ now, Franklin. He lost.
Jermaine Franklin.
He's got a title shot. I mean, not a title shot, but he's got a big money fight.
True.
So you never know. But I'd like to see him retire because whenever you see, like you said, not a split lip, but damn near torn off. And he was getting hit by a guy that.
The same punch.
Yeah, same.
It's an overhand right with that low
something
left.
You said, too, about the trainers, and we criticize trainers all the time. Why didn't you fix this?
But is it the trainer or is it Hurd? Because Hurd hasn't changed. He's had 3 different trainers, and it's still the same thing. The low left and getting overhead. Exactly.
I was on the phone yesterday with a guy from Boston. We're going to do a hitting clinic out his way. And Cal Ripken Jr., Carl Yastrzemski, a lot of hitters, as they got older, would bring the bat closer to the back shoulder, okay, so they can get to the ball quicker. They made adjustments. As a fighter, you have to make adjustments. You can't always be, the way you were when you were 25, 26, okay? You have more miles on you. And some guys can't make the adjustment.
And he obviously can't make the adjustment or doesn't want to. Whatever it is, he needs to retire. No medical staff should okay this guy. I mean, he's just done. He's a punching bag out there.
Yeah, and it's a shame, and that's one thing in boxing when you see that. We were talking before the show again about Terry Norris, Sugar Ray Leonard. I want to say 1991, and obviously you guys know I love Sugar Ray Leonard. All the fights, all the sporting events that I've watched or attended, that fight made me feel old because Sugar Ray, I grew up watching Sugar Ray, and even the Ali when he fought Holmes, that bothered me too. But when Sugar Ray, for some reason, fought Terry Norris, because Norris didn't let up on him, where Holmes let up on Ali a little bit. I said, damn. And again, you pick a hell of a night to go bad. But that's the thing about boxing. You find out maybe at the wrong time.
He better stop because you don't want him to go out like Bernard Hopkins, getting
Out in the
knocked
ring.
out of the ring.
Yeah.
That's
Let's go.
embarrassing.
Joe
That's on
Louis,
his record. Yeah.
Out of the ring. Hopkins out of the ring. What are some of the guys that really had a bad ending?
Well, Ali took a beating,
Yeah.
a bad beating.
Boy, if Jim was here, he'd talk about Trevor Burbank.
Oh,
But hey, Tyson,
Yeah.
too.
Lewis. And
But I think Tyson
Roy
was,
Jones took some bad beatings.
Yeah. I think the Tyson last couple of fights was more mental than physical. I still think he had a punch. He just didn't want it
He
anymore.
still has a punch, but yeah, I mean, he just was done, man. But Roy Jones really took some vicious
When he
KOs.
got hit, when he got knocked out, he got knocked out.
Right.
I mean,
He got put to sleep a
He got
couple.
put
They
to
had,
sleep.
they had to wake Roy Jones up a couple times.
right,
give him
right.
the smelling
Smelling
salt.
salt. All right. Well, when we come back, one of our popular segments, the Boxing Authority News. When we come back to the Boxing Authorities. Welcome back to the Boxing Authorities. Luther, I thought of you again. When Caleb Smith got injured, okay, I thought of Luther, because what does Luther say during an injury? He ain't hurt. He just doesn't want to fight this fight because there's a bigger money fight down the road. Right? Do you not say that?
It's an Eddie Eddie Hearn special.
Did you think of that as well?
I thought.
All right.
Dillian White. He was supposed to fight Otto Ali,
Right.
faked the shoulder injury, and got a big money Tyson Fury fight where he got knocked out in the fourth
All of a
round.
sudden he felt good.
Right. Same thing with this. WBC is going to put the Caleb Smith and Better B fight coming up. I don't like Caleb Smith. I mean, he's very basic. He looks better at 175, but you know, he's still very slow, very basic, and he's food for for the monster. You know, the caveman is who I call him. But he nothing impressive. The whole Smith family from the UK, I'm not impressed with any of them. He's probably the best out of the C-level fighters.
But
in the
that's
rest of
like
his family.
what? Saying I'm the tallest one in my family.
But look, I mean, you know, he has had some great performances at 175, but, you know, he's not fast enough. He doesn't hit hard enough to keep the monster off of him. He's a guy who's going to go out, I think, in 5 or 6 rounds against, Order Better Be.
You said he was going to be food.
Food.
Now-
He's going to eat him up. Remember Joe Smith?
Yeah.
It might be a Joe Smith type of knockout for Order.
Well, you know how they say styles make fights, right? And this, I agree with you. I think this fight is perfect for Better
it
Be.
is.
Now, Smith does fight pretty good going back. He throws some nice punches going back.
I don't see him throwing no punches.
But Better Be likes coming forward. So you better be on your game. But I don't think he's good as far as avoiding punches.
No,
Caleb
no.
Smith. And against Beterbiev, I think the fighter that would give Beterbiev problems is a mover,
Right, like Bivol.
like Bivol.
Dimitri
And I don't
Bivol.
think Smith is going to move him.
No,
I'm sorry. I don't
that's
think he's
Caleb
going to
Smith.
move.
Yeah, Caleb Smith's going to be right there for him. He's going to be just like Joe Smith. He's going to be another Smith that
Another
just gets
Smith.
destroyed by Order. You know, I don't know why more people aren't calling for this unification, Bivol versus Better Behave. It just should happen. I mean, I don't get it. I'm not excited about this fight. Caleb, we saw what he did against Canelo. He got his arms swole, didn't even throw punches.
Right.
C-level.
Let me ask you this, though. You said, why aren't Bivol
Bivol.
Better Be going to fight? Do you think that – do you remember in Rocky 1 when Apollo Creed was looking for an opponent? They said, this is the right guy.
Yeah.
He comes in, and I'll just do it. I think that at this stage of Better Be's career – not that he's lost it, but that last fight, he took more punches.
Yeah,
than he-
Yard gave him something to
Oh,
think
yeah,
about.
that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. They might be saying, you know what? Let's just get a few more title defenses. Not a lot of risk. Do you think that goes on in the office of the promoter slash manager?
I think the longer it waits, the Bivol fight's going to be more difficult because he's 38 already. They might not fight till he's 39 or 40.
Do you think they will fight though?
I'm starting to. Yeah, I think they will eventually. They're going to have to because they're running out of opponents unless David Benavidez comes back up or
Which I wouldn't fool
Canelo.
with him either.
Right.
If I were Better Be.
You know, so we'll see. I do think they will fight maybe towards the end of the year
Mm-hmm.
or beginning of 2024. But, Bivol is going to be a tough matchup for Order. because he moves.
Right.
You know, Order likes a guy to be.
That's what I'm saying. You want a guy who's right there, who you can. I've said Beterbiev is accurate. Well, why is he accurate? Because the guys he fights don't move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flat-footed fighters. Bivol's anything but. That's what gave Canelo problems. When
Right.
he schooled Canelo, moved around, stiff jab.
So if I said to you, Luther, who would you want? What's your dream fight for Beterbiev? Mine would be Canelo.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to see that fight. And I still think that, because you just said it again, somebody who moves would give Beterbiev problems. Canelo ain't moving. He's going to stand there.
Canelo will never take that fight. I mean, he's too much of a challenge. He doesn't want to go out getting knocked out. He's looking at John Ryder. Remember I said this?
Yeah, you
and
call
he's going to
that
fight Edgar Berlanga after
Right,
that.
right. Do you think fighters, I know University of Kentucky basketball coach John Calipari says, we want to we want to play the Dukes, the Kansases early so we can see where we are. He wants to go into it. Now, do you think fighters, let's just say for the sake of arguing, let's say Benavidez and Plant are fighting. The next fight, I'm guessing, might be Benavidez. The winner of that fight might fight Canelo. You think Canelo
That's
is
not
saying,
happening.
I don't want Benavidez to win. I want Plant to win. I've already fought him and beat him. I'd rather have that fight than a Benavidez.
Of course. I don't think he wants any part of the Mexican monster. You know, Canelo already said he doesn't want to fight any more Mexicans. He doesn't want to fight Benavidez because this guy's young, he's big, he's strong. No, he wants to fight. You know, if Plant wins, he'll jump into that fight. After Ryder, he'll jump right into Plant. Benavidez,
But to
he's
play
going to put him off.
devil's advocate to you, they're competitors. They want to be known as the greatest of all time in their era or the greatest in their weight shift.
When has Canelo ever moved that way? I mean, what great can we say? There's 4, 5 boxers that would give you a challenge, and you're a terrible fighter. Oh, I'm not fighting Mexicans.
Right.
Oh, you haven't done anything to earn this fight. That's not how the great champs move. Right. And we've heard all that stuff from Canelo. You know, Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade comes in. You're a horrible fighter, but he won't fight him.
If he's horrible, fight him.
Fight him. Benavidez, he hasn't done anything. Charlo, he hasn't done anything. Why don't you all fight each other? And then,
Pardon the pun, you think he's backed himself into a corner because if Benavidez beats Plant, he's going to have to fight Benavidez.
He doesn't have to. He can drop the belt.
But that's a bad look.
And he could fight Berlanga. He's not going to fight Benavidez. He knows Benavidez doesn't have that much longer at 168 before he has to move to 175. I think he'd wait that out.
But the one person, Luther, that you can't lie to, can't hide behind is the mirror. If you're in a Super Bowl commercial, you're Canelo, you're the big dog of boxing.
He's in Creed 3, the number 1 movie out. Him and Terrence Crawford,
right, okay.
2 of the biggest ducks in the sport right now. Both are in there. And Jose Benavidez, David's brother, was in that as well. They all did great. But he's not moving that way. Same with Terrence Crawford. They're not giving the fans the best fights. That's hurting the sport.
Vinny's last fight for number 50. I told him to fight me. This is your last fight.
Fight a bum.
You're not. Well,
fight
Luther's
a bum.
calling me a
not
bum.
A bum.
but I said fight anybody because nobody cares. You're not trying to move up in the rankings. You're not trying to get another title fight. You want number 50 and retire. Everybody just wants to see you win. He said, I can't do that. I got to fight somebody good. I said, why?
That's the heart of a champion.
Right.
And do a lot of these current guys do that? No.
He fought a guy, Tucker Pedwell, who was bigger, younger, stronger than Vinny, and who went the distance with Eric Luca for the super middleweight title. I said, Vinny, why? He says, I want somebody tough. And he said when Tucker Pedwell hit him, besides Duran, he said, man,
he felt every bit of
damn,
it.
I felt it. Now, Vinny won, of course. But Vinny could look in the mirror. He could look back every time he sees that trophy that was presented to him. It was a big trophy, a boxing glove. My 50th win. I know I fought somebody good. Will Canelo, looking in his ledger, Floyd Mayweather, like him or not, I know Jim isn't crazy about it, but you look at his record.
Winning
that
world
man,
champions.
Well, there's title holders and champions. He fought champions.
Yeah.
And he fought a variety of different ones, different styles, different points in their career, but he can't control fighting everybody in their prime. He fought everybody. He can take pride in that career. If you were Canelo, can you look at your ledger? If he doesn't fight Benavidez,
you can look at your bank. You can look at your bank account and be fine. That's he's going to look at his bank account and be fan.
But do you think
pick
the older
another trip."
guys felt that too?
No, and that's why a lot of the Mexican greats are critical of Canelo. You know, we've heard them all come out and say he's not fighting the best. He's not doing what he needs to do. And at some point, he's going to have to.
Now, you did call. We should name this show "Giving Luther Credit." What's the thing, Kelly Russell?
You deserve
You
credit.
deserve credit.
I deserve all
You
the
deserve
credit.
You did call John Ryder in, I want to say, late 21.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. And
why?
Because that's how Canelo moves. He sees a cherry. He somehow got the number one ranked contender. He'll jump at it. But when Benavidez is the number one WBC contender, had the belt, lost it on the scale, why wouldn't you fight him? Why wouldn't you beat the guy who lost it on the scale?
So you never see him fighting. Okay, yes or no? Will he ever fight Bivol again?
No.
Will he ever fight Beterbiev?
No.
Would he ever fight Benavidez?
No.
Will he fight Plant if he beats Benavidez?
Yes.
Then who else is there?
He won't fight Demetrius Andrade. Boo Boo. No.
You don't think he'll fight him
He
either?
won't fight Jamel or Jamal Charlo. No. But he will. No. If you're fighting John Ryder with 5 losses, you can't say nobody else doesn't deserve it.
Right.
I mean, undefeated Benavidez, undefeated Charlo, undefeated Boo Boo Andrade, undefeated Beterbiev. Come on now.
And Luth, you know, I know I tend to look at it business and fan. As a fan, those names we just mentioned, Bivol, Beterbiev, Charlos, Benavidez, Boo Boo, man, those would be some
great matches.
Great fights.
And that's
Great
legendary.
fights.
Legendary matches.
And then you can put your name. You beat it. He didn't have to fight them all.
Right.
Okay. But if he fought,
Fight 2 of them. Fight any of them.
you're not asking. Right. We're not asking
We're
you
not
to
saying
fight
go through
every
all of
single
them.
one. Right.
But John Ryder doesn't bring anything to the table. You know, 5 losses, nobody knows him. He's been a journeyman, but lately he had a couple big wins against
Right.
Zach Parker and Danny Jacobs.
Yeah. But Jacobs was on the way down.
On the way
I
down.
think. Yeah.
You know, and that was questionable. Did he really win? Or
Right.
did he get the W because he was in his hometown?
Right.
But 5 losses, there's no excuses anymore not to fight these other guys.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right. One of Jim's favorites, Tony
Another
Yoka.
hype, another Smoker Jim hype job.
He's 11-1-9. He lost his last fight. It was a shocker. He's going to be fighting a guy who is turning into a journeyman, but he's nobody to play with. Carlos Takam, who's 39-7-1, March with 28 knockouts, March 11th. Luther, your prediction on the fight?
Well, Tony Yoka will win this one.
Win or should? He will or should?
He
Okay.
should and he will.
All right.
Carlos Takam, you know, he's a journeyman fighter, very basic, old, long in the tooth. He'll give it his all, but Tony Yoka is much too dangerous for him. You know, he's bigger, has the speed, he's younger. I think he wins. I think he knocks him out. You know, take him. You've seen him take some beatings. You know, he's just a guy. He's a step-up fight. He just came off that tough loss to Bertoli. I forget his name.
Who Takam?
No, Yoka.
Oh, yeah. That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Takam fought somebody recently, too, and lost.
He's
a name
lost a whole
fighter.
lot. 7. You know, but it's going to be an easy win for Tony Yoka. A nice step-up fight. You know, I'm not expecting much out of Carlos Takam. It's another retirement. He's collecting retirement checks right now.
You know, do you agree that when you lose a fight, you got 2 choices? Either become one of many or say, you know what, I learned something from it. I have to train better, go in there with a different mindset, different attitude, and really turn it up. Which one do you think Yoka will do? Obviously, you think he's going to knock him out.
I think he can turn it up against Takem, but I saw a lot of flaws in his only loss. Defensively, I didn't think his power was there, so this is a great fight for him.
Representing Jim on this, he's got a great look.
Here you go.
But it's important.
He got good features.
He's got good features, right?
Good lips,
but,
right, Clark?
He's got good lips. But I ain't going that far. But the thing that I'm saying is his management team or his group or whatever, look, this is like Buster Douglas' manager told him years ago, this is what we have, okay, which we're still trying to get Buster on the show.
Can't wait.
But me too. But the thing is, he has a chance once the Furies and the Wilders are done, because they ain't going to fight forever. He has a chance to be the face of boxing.
I don't see it.
I'm sorry, of the heavyweight division.
I don't see it.
He's got a chance. I mean, who is – if I said to you right now, Luther, Fury and Wilder are going to retire eventually. Okay, and I said this at my house when you and Jim were over, and Jim doesn't agree. I think you do. When Wilder and Fury separated themselves by far, but who's the next heavyweight face the heavyweight division?
Well, you know who I like. Jared Big Baby Anderson, the next heavyweight champion. Herkovich, another guy, he showed some flaws. Daniel Dubois, I'm still not off of him. Joe Joyce is old, but he only has about 13 fights.
He's a young old.
He's a young old. He could fight till he's 40 because he hasn't had those wars.
That's right.
So I'm looking at those three right now, and I think they could be right in the mix.
I'm with you. I agree with you, those three.
And that one, the Russian that Jim likes, Makhmudov. Makhmudov.
Yeah, he's a
one.
big boy. Yeah, but we want to see him. He beat Takam.
Yeah, you're right. Yep,
Okay.
that's who beat him.
I'm pulling for Yoka. Okay, I'd like to see him get it in the mix. I'm with you. I think Jared Anderson's the one. But again, when Joyce, if he lands a shot, it's all over because he can hit you. But you don't think Yoka's in the upper?
No, he's there are levels above him. I saw too
Think
many.
about it a little bit,
I saw
Lou.
too many flaws in Tony Yoka.
All right. Well, I hope that he does win this fight because I think it's good for the
And you know
heavyweight
what I
division.
didn't like? I saw a little quitting him.
Yeah, that's what I said about the attitude. That's right.
So,
Yeah.
when I see a little quitting in you, I can't put you on that next level.
Right. No, I'm with you. That's what I meant by the
Yeah,
attitude.
he never sold out. He got dropped a couple times, and then he didn't go for it. So
Right.
I didn't like that.
We mentioned Manny Pacquiao. There's rumor that he might be fighting Conor Benn. Now, we'll cover this another time as far as the money he made, but he is one of the highest paid boxers of all time. So this cannot be for the money, I would hope. Keep fighting exhibitions. Not that Conor Benn's but would you do this fight if you were
No.
Pacquiao? How would you do it if you were Ben?
Well, Ben, this is great for Ben. I mean, he has all these accusations about PEDs. This is a great fight for him. He's fighting an older guy who just took a monster beating against Uga. Did you see Pacquiao's wife in Uga's fight?
Yeah.
Why would he put her through that against a younger knockout hitter?
Stronger.
And Ugas isn't a knockout guy.
Oh,
Pacquiao, this is the young Pacquiao. He's not moving like this anymore.
No.
He doesn't have those fast hands and the power and the combinations. He's not jumping in. Why? Who is allowing him to fight? I mean, after that last one, he had to drink out of a straw after that last fight. Now you're going to fight a young bull who's on like a 4 knockout streak? Man, does he have friends? Somebody got to talk to him.
Excellent point, Luther. And again, not just because he's a friend of the show and we love him. Jimmy Birchfield really cares for his fighters. And if he would have saw something like that, he said, you're not fighting under my name, under my
Exactly.
company. You're not fighting. And, just like, for example, a lot of people criticize the Team Ali when he fought Holmes, fought Burbick, and fought those guys. I don't know. Look, you made your money off the guy, okay? Whoever it was made their money off Pacquiao. They made a nice chunk of change. You just hit it on the head. Your friends, your family, obviously, but your friends, but your boxing team. You know what they see? They see dollars. Or maybe it's just him. We don't know.
And we know, Ali, we know a lot of people were stealing from him.
Yeah.
We as you saw in the documentary, the Muslims were stealing. Top Rank was stealing from a lot of people were eating off Ali. Same thing for Pacquiao.
But how the hell can you do that? And against Burbick and Holmes and see that man just getting hit like that. And he's like, hell, I don't care. I'm getting money from it. I mean, you got to be really savage. I mean, you know me. I'm all about money too, but I would never do that at the risk of somebody's health.
Yeah.
And that was awful. But do you think this fight will come? I think this fight's going to come off.
I hope not. And Conor Benn has just turned into a knockout animal in the last couple fights. I mean, his first couple, he didn't have this power. Then all of a sudden,
Training, bro. It's a new method. It's that rope.
It's the
that
eggs.
rope
It's those
you do.
eggs that he was
Yeah.
eating that he claims.
Well, they did
was
say
responsible.
eggs are costing more money now, so maybe something's up
Something's
with
in
the eggs.
them eggs.
Right.
But I mean, he just has a lot of power, a lot of speed all of a sudden, and the guys can't take it anymore. I mean, we have guys that fought Errol Spence and Boots Enos, and they fought him and said, "Man, that felt like I was getting hit with a brick wall." So we'll see. I don't think it's going to happen.
What are the when there's money involved, anything can happen. But what are the percentages? What would you give Pacquiao the shot to win?
20%.
Now in his
20%.
prime, 0, right? For 100%.
100%. Yeah. Yeah,
20%.
but right
wow.
now 20. I mean, because he did not look good in the Ugas fight. Ugas beat him down,
Yeah.
and he's not a power puncher.
Right.
This guy is. He could end up going out on a stretcher, or he could get out, could put to sleep like he did against, Juan Manuel
Right,
Marquez.
Marquez.
We don't want to see that.
That's what I said. In baseball, you can say I'm done, but you don't get hurt.
You
But
could get
this,
carried out.
You can get carried out.
Not the way you want to get carried out in the ring.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen either. Amanda Serrano is injured for real. She's not fighting another fight after that. She's definitely injured. So the Katie Taylor fight is off for now. So we just wanted to report that.
She took I was worried. She took some punishment in that last fight. She was in there toe to toe. I was worried if she could go right into a Katie Taylor fight after that. So I'm glad she's taking some time off because she took some heat.
Another Rocky reference. When Apollo Creed and Rocky III, so you can't fight that way anymore. We're not that age anymore. We're
Yeah.
not. You got to fight differently. I said this last fight. Amanda Serrano, when she fought her last fight, she reminded me of who? Arturo Gatti. Gatti would start off. He'd start off boxing. Then
It turned into a war.
He turned into a war when they didn't have
That's
to.
her style, Claudio.
But Luke,
have you ever seen her fight? She's in there.
She could though. That's what I'm trying to say. She could. She's got nice skills.
She's a lot older now. Maybe
I
she
know.
can't do it, the full rounds anymore.
Would you?
And she likes it. She likes
I know,
banging.
I know. But if you were her training team, would you say, let's have this game plan. Go in and be a boxer. Now, if we're down, if this isn't working, then you have that tool to go in and slug. Like, for example, Marciano had one way to fight. That was it. Knockout. Vinny Paz, boxer puncher. Lennox Lewis, boxer puncher. Evander was a guy who just hit you numerous times and took it. But some people are athletic enough to have a choice.
Right.
Amanda Serrano has that choice. Now, if you're losing,
maybe not. She's older now, Claudia. Does she still have it to be able to box and move like that? I think she likes getting those knockouts.
well, yeah, but you might get hit too, though.
True, she got hit a lot.
You can only
That's
take
why
so
she's
many
hurt
punches. You can. But again, when you have that sort of athletic ability, that I still do. You believe that she could be a boxer puncher?
At this point, I don't think so. I think she's just a puncher, a brawler. That's her style right now.
And back to Vinny, whenever he changed trainers, went to Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney said, no more brawling. Now you're going to be Willie Pep. And even during the fights, he would say, Willie Pep, Willow the Wisp.
Yeah.
Used to hit you and move. Hit,
Stick
Pernell
and move.
Whitaker.
Stick and move.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Vinny had the ability to do that. Vinny's very underrated athletically. We're going to get him on the show, too. I've been getting a lot of emails. We'll get him on the show. But he would move really nice, and he would go this way and hit you with a right. So he could have, and he did box at times. The second Roberto Duran fight, Vinny boxed beautifully. And then the last round, I think he cracked his hand, but he boxed beautifully. And I used to tell him, don't brawl, don't do that. But then, you get caught up in the moment is what I think happens. But Big Baby Anderson, I criticized him whenever he gets southpaw because he gets stuck.
Right.
But then as soon as he got hit, what do you do?
Switch back.
To his credit. So I like to see Serrano box a little bit more. Stephen Fulton versus Naoya Inoue for Fulton's WBC, WBO junior featherweight. Luther, you've been talking about this young man back when he was an amateur.
Yeah,
I saw
Cool Boy. We saw him out of Philly.
Yeah.
We used to do all the amateur boxing, and they would come and destroy us. That's how we saw Cool Boy. That's how we saw Jerome Boutinas. But this guy has heart. He can fight a number of styles, toe to toe.
Exactly.
He can box you. He can do it all. And the only thing I don't like, sometimes he brawls when he doesn't have to. I hope he doesn't brawl with Inoue
he can hit.
in Japan.
Inoue can hit.
He can hit, but he's coming up. We'll see if his punch transfers.
Right.
And he's never fought anybody like Cool Boy.
No.
A guy who could move. And I hope that's what he's doing because I don't want to see him brawling in Japan, but it should be great, man. I'm very impressed with him. Another great Philly fighter, very talented, has all the skills you want. Doesn't have a lot of power, but he doesn't need it because
Accumulative punches, you feel it.
But in a way, man, he's tough, but he's never fought anybody on the level of Cool Boy. Right now, I'm going with Stephen Cool Boy in a decision.
Me too.
But is he going to get it in Japan? He's a hero. He's the Michael Jordan of Japan.
I know. You got to give him credit. He reminded me, when I heard he was fighting in Japan, who did I think of? Haney.
Haney. Oh, yeah, when he went to
Think of
Australia.
Haney, yeah.
Yeah, went to Australia.
Let me ask you a question that we didn't touch on or talk about. Who does he remind you of?
Who? Cool Boy? I kind of want to say like a Pernell Whitaker type. He could be that way.
Who can hit harder.
Who could hit a little
point.
harder. I always keep thinking Pernell. I wish he would do a little more of that, where you can't hit him. Who are you thinking of, Claudio?
And we didn't talk about this prior to the show. Pernell Whitaker with power.
Okay,
Pernell
yeah.
Whitaker. But the thing about Pernell Whitaker is he never got out of that game plan.
No, he didn't.
He always made, and again, to Luther's credit, and whenever I hear this on TV, Luther says it more than they do, reset.
Yeah.
Reset. You could not get a punch. It's like in baseball, for example. Clint Hurdle, former Pirates manager, used to say, change the eye levels as a pitcher throwing to the hitter. Change eye levels and change speeds. Hitting is timing and balance.
Right.
Pitching is messing that timing and balance up, right? Which they don't do anymore. But in boxing, Whitaker, you might be ready to throw a big shot, and all of a sudden he moves, and then you have to reset.
Right.
Fulton has that ability, but I don't want to see him unless you are late in the rounds. Like some guys, for example, that were strictly boxers who didn't have a big punch. They needed to get out to a big lead and stay in that big lead because they weren't going to knock you out.
Right.
Fulton
Right.
could knock you out.
Yeah.
Okay. But I would rather him be more the boxer and only use that brawling or that telephone booth type fight if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get off to a good start, outbox them, make them reset, and like you said, number one, they're fighting. He's fighting away.
Japan,
He's
yeah.
fighting away, and Inoue can. Is that how you pronounce it?
Inoue.
He
Some people
can-
say in the way, but
Yeah, right.
in a way.
Well, he might be. He better get out of the way, but he can hit, and he's aggressive. He
Yeah.
throws a lot of punches, and this could be a hell of a fight.
Yeah,
I'm with you though.
I'm impressed that both of these guys stepped
Yeah,
up
right.
and they're making it.
There's
But
no
for Cool
ducking.
Boy to go to Japan and take this fight.
No
Man,
ducking.
I give him all the credit in the world.
No ducking. But you asked me again. It's funny because we didn't talk about it prior. You said Whitaker. I said Pernell Whitaker with some pop.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
but Whitaker
he's the real
stayed in
deal.
that lane. He stayed in that lane all the time, which I don't know if Fulton's going to, but I think he's going to win this fight.
But
Okay.
I think he may have to try to put Inoue down a little. He's coming up. We'll see. I'd like to see him go to the body. We know Inoue goes to the body, throws a lot of hard punches.
Let me ask you this, though, and again, we said that about Haney and Kambosos. But, yes, he's fighting away. Yes, Inoue is a big dog out there in his own
Jordan.
country. He's Jordan.
He's Jordan out there.
But if the judges are from the United States, Italy, and Holland,
Claudia, they still got to get out of there. If it's a close fight, they'll stand out.
You know what that reminds me of? What you said. Remember the old, obviously we're here in Pittsburgh, the Immaculate Reception.
Oh, yeah.
Now, who knows how true it is? John Madden said that he heard the referee call somebody and say, hey, what was the deal? He said, well, maybe he trapped it. How much security do we have? Not much. Touchdown. Yeah, he got the hell out of there. So, hey.
You never know.
You never know.
But we know for Cool Boy to get this decision, he's going to have to dominate. I think if it's a close fight, it's going to march to Inoue. But unless he dominates like Haney dominated Kambosos, you got to take it out of the judge's hands where, it was just too much of a difference.
And you know yourself, if you're fighting, again, away, and you land a jab, the fans go crazy
Right.
like it was the biggest
Right.
shot of all time. But I'm still going to go with a decision,
I
maybe
believe
a
so.
split. That might be the controversy.
Yeah.
A split when we think maybe he won all. But in a way, he's a hell of a fighter, though.
Yes.
And finally, our final thoughts and predictions with Tim Tszyu, 21-0-15 knockouts against Tony Harrison, 29-3, one draw with 21 knockouts at 154. Luther, your thoughts? Final thoughts.
Tony Harrison, man, he's one of my favorite. He talks so much trash, and he really can't talk as much against Tim Tszyu
Right.
because, they're over in the country. But I would like to see him win. I just don't see it happening. I think he'll look good early, but I think he's going to tire late, and Tim Tszyu is going to come on and maybe drop him one time, and I think he gets the decision.
Decision,
But
okay.
I think Harrison's going to look good for the first 6 or 7 rounds, but he always has stamina issues, and that's in the States. Now he's going out of the country. I don't see him getting the decision. I see a unanimous for Tim Tszyu.
I'm going to go. I got to catch up to you. You got to come up with the stats here, by the way. We've been getting emails.
Oh,
about
yeah,
that,
right. We
the
got to get
graph.
the stats.
I'm going with Harrison. I think he's got one more left. I think he's got one. And this is the
he
guy.
looked great in his last fight. Oh,
Right.
my goodness, he looked great.
Right. And I think he's got one more, and I think this is the right opponent. Now, if he was fighting a Charlo again or something like that, no. But I think he's got one
we want to see
more
a
fight.
Charlo Harrison 3? The first two were pretty good.
Yeah, they were.
But the a third one?
I think you will see it. I'll tell you why. If Harrison wins, because they're both familiar with each other. They both know what each other brings to the table. Both teams have negotiated before, and there's a little rivalry
And
there.
Harrison
and then
is what-
Charlo wins that one.
Right. Harrison's a great talker. I mean,
Yeah.
he had Charlo so angry and shook.
Yeah.
I mean, he's one of the best trash talkers in the game.
But to
That
Charlo's
Detroit
credit,
style.
that second fight, I give him obviously physically credit, but I give him mental credit
Right.
that he
But
was
and also
disciplined.
Tony Harrison started playing in that second fight.
Yeah.
Because it was so easy. He started stretching and then he got hit and couldn't recover.
Right.
Why do you against a knockout artist? You can't play. You got to be mentally
play.
focused. You can't take
play.
that trash talk to another level.
All right. Well, when we come back, our popular segment, Boxing Mailbags. Come on back to the Boxing Authorities. Welcome back to the Boxing Authorities, our popular segment, Boxing Mailbag. Please continue to send your great comments and questions to boxingmailbag@yahoo.com or at my website, claudiorelsano.com. Dante, this is for all three of us, Luther, you and I. If
He
you
must be
guys were,
black.
what's that?
Dante.
Dante, yep, Dante, all three from Toledo, Ohio. If you guys were fighting, in what venue, in order, would you like to fight? Madison Square Garden, Dallas Stadium, Caesars in Las Vegas, or the UK? I know Jim would say the UK.
Right. Oh, I got to say Madison Square Garden still.
Yeah.
That still holds so much weight. Then Caesar's Palace, and then I would say the UK. Those are my three. in
Not
order.
Dallas Stadium, that do anything for you?
it
You
doesn't-
weren't there. You were in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I didn't go to Dallas. I haven't been there, but I mean, man, Madison, Caesar's Palace, and I would just love to go fight in the UK because they have some of the greatest
That's where
fans.
the money is.
That's where, yeah.
I'm with you. Exact order. Madison Square Garden because it's Madison Square Garden. It's New York. I think of the Knicks of Frazier and Reed and all those guys, and then obviously Bruno. There's a lot of reasons why I'd like to fight Madison Square Garden. Number two, Caesar's Palace. A lot of big time fights there. Cooney Holmes was one of them.
Right.
Lalonde Leonard, and of course Evel Knievel jumping over Caesar's Palace. It's Caesar's Palace. Third, I'm going to the UK.
Okay.
Because that's where the big money is. And Dallas, I don't really have much of an attachment.
Jerry's World, he oversells everything. I'm not
Yeah.
there. I'll take the other three.
Rick from Roanoke, Virginia, Tony Atlas's hometown. Claudio, I hear you mention David Tua often. Why didn't he win the belt in his prime? He was one of the biggest punchers I've ever seen, and he had a good chin. Who was that again? Rick. I think it was just bad timing.
Yeah.
He fought he was in an era with some big boys who were better than him. If he was fighting today, I think he'd.
I think he'd
he'd
get a
have
belt
shot.
today. Yeah, he would definitely
But still,
be in the
Wilder
mix.
and Fury would get him, I think.
Possibly, but he'd have a chance. But he also had trouble with the Ike Ibeabuchis, the Lennox Lewis,
The bigger
so
guys.
the bigger guys.
Wilder and Fury are bigger guys.
Yeah. I mean, Tua was great, but he just wasn't good enough. Sometimes you come in an era where the guys are just better. Look at the 70s.
Ernie Shavers,
Yeah,
Jerry
you had
Cooney.
Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman. I mean,
Ken Norton.
Yeah, who's going to get those guys? Those are some of the greatest fighters ever.
Would you
And
say
Tua,
agree?
the 90s was a
Bad
great
timing?
era. Bad timing.
Yeah, bad timing. Well, as always, we hope you enjoy our show as much as we enjoy bringing it to you. Jim will be here soon. We miss you, Jim. It's not the same without you, brother. But thank you all for tuning in to the Boxing Authorities.